And number one is we're going to be looking at the word peace. Beace. The word peace, actually, it sounds strange, but it's just like God, that has nothing to do with Hebrew. Matter of fact, it's not even, the word peace is actually Latin, letter for letter, and it comes from the root word pac, P-A-C, and pac is French, which we see a lot of paganistic things of French and Latin mixture, like libertarius and justice and things like that, which those are other messages in the future. But right now we're going to focus on the word peace, pac. So peace in English, which is actually an English translation from the French word pac, P-A-C. Now, if you remember and observed, you would hear on the news once in a while. Now, from this day forward, it's always like once in a while when you see things and you hear things that you would see once in a while in the news, C-SPAN or any other news, and once in a while they'll say that Secretary of State so-and-so is going to meet with the Prime Minister so-and-so of a certain country, and they're going to have peace packs. So what they're saying in English and French is Peace-Pax, which is, when I used to hear that, I thought it was a pack of people and they're having a little junto or gathering, a circle, and they're having a powwow of a gathering. They're packing together to make peace on a matter. But it's actually the French term of its definition, which actually means to bring peace by war or forcefully agreements through tactical strategies of verbal, economical, or strategy threats against your will and your laws of your sovereign country. So in other words, the peace pack is not according to Hebrew or what we think it means. It has nothing to do with shalom. It has nothing to do with shalom. It's dealing with one stronger and tougher than the others and bringing the others in submission and saying, yeah, well, if you get this and give this, and we will give you grain or we'll give you this, and then we'll make this other country through weapons do this, and we're going to form a coalition of peace-pax. And it's dealing with something forcefully. Has nothing to do with Hebrew, has nothing to do with the scriptural understanding. It is a sin. It is awful to use that term for, if you say Prince of Peace, that is a wrong context and a horrible thing to say and aim it towards our Creator, Savior, because He's only the Prince of Shalom. People come to Him from all sides, and He brings shalom to everybody by all sides of the table, by love and willing submission, not by a forceful hand. So now that we understand it's near Hebrew, and it's actually a French word, and peace is an English translation of that French word, pac. We're going to go ahead and explore some words here before we're going to explore some of it, some of the different words. It's actually, I call it pancaked. I call it pancaking a word on a word. And a lot of times the words in Greek, not all the words in Greek are bad. They're actually good, friendly words with good definitions of translation or transliteration. But what they do is they pancake a paganistic word or a conquest idea from the kings and the queens and the lordships of landlords of mentality, words, either paganistic or inputting these words that have frequency sounds relating to false pagan deities, that we'll say it out of our mouth, we get comfortable, we say it, and then we relay it to our Creator, which is blasphemous in every aspect and area. So for in the Tanakh and the Torah, which Christians call Old Testament, but we do because there's nothing old about the covenant. It's a good covenant, it's a fresh covenant. It's an awesome covenant, and it has a renewed marriage vow. So in that covenant, in the Tanakh, it's 318 times packed over with a paganistic French word of force. But we're going to look at the different translations, okay? We're not going to look at all 318. We're going to look at the 6 times of different Hebrew meanings. But the words are very good. There was no reason to destroy the true meaning. And we're going to start off on Genesis, Bereshit, chapter 15, verse 15, in the scriptures. And right away in verse 15 it says, and you shall go to your fathers in, they put the word peace, but it's supposed to be shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom, which literally means with friendly welfare of good health and prosperously a favor of shalom. Has nothing to do with that word peace. I'm telling you, that's a different word. It's a different meaning. Okay? So we have to eliminate that stronghold out of our minds. Okay? The next word in Hebrew is found in Genesis 24:21. Now this is found throughout the Tanakh, but we're just going to pick the 6 specific words for reference for you so we can look at it. In Genesis 24:21, it is written, and the man wondering at her held his, they say, peace to witness whether Yahuwah had made his journey prosperous or not. Now, in this scripture, or held his peace, it's supposed to be the word rash, which means the root word, which means to engrave, plow in a device manner, in a way to be silent, let alone, dissipately, make himself deaf, hold his speech altogether, conceal or cease from speaking, and hold his own quietness and practice discipline of holding his practice. So that's what that Hebrew word is, harash, or rash. It has the guttural sound, rash. And it's to make yourself deaf with discipline or silent or quietness. The next word, now this is what they camouflaged over with the false word of the French word Pac. We say peace. Let's look at Exodus chapter 24, verse 5, which is Shemot. And he sent a young man of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed, now it says, peace offerings of oxen unto Yehuda, which in actuality it is the Hebrew word 8002, which is shalom, which is a requital or voluntary sacrifice of thanksgiving. It is a thanksgiving shalom or shalom offering. It is a shalom offering, a willing sacrificial offering. And it's not good to use a pact, because that means you're making a deal by threats. You know what I mean? It is a perfect sacrificial offering. Now let's look for the next one. And in Yikra, or Leviticus chapter 10, verse 3, it is written, now then Moshe said unto Aaron, this is it that Yahuwah spoke, saying, I will be sanctified in them that comes near me, and before all the people I will be glorified. And Aaron held his 18:26 in Hebrew, and it is the word damam. is the root word of 1724 and 1820, is to make yourself dumb, to stop speaking, to cease from talking, to stop and cut yourself off, to forbear, hold your speech, quiet yourself, and rest your tongue. Okay? So it's to say, to keep silent, rest your neck, like we say sometimes to people, rest your neck, chill out, brother, you know, and silence your tongue. I know if you go around telling people silence, they get upset, but it's actually a better word than saying hold your peace. Because pack means you're forcefully doing it with a knife point or gun point or by threat. Okay? Malachi bed, or 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 5. And the sons of the prophets that were at Jericho came to Elisha and said unto him, knowest you that Yahuwah will take away your master from your head today? And he answered, yes, I know. Hold your kasha, hold your silence, or be still. And of course, there's multiple times it changes to 79:65, it changes to 28:14 again, and to 76:65 throughout Malachi, the book of Kings. And that is Malachi Bet, chapter 18, 18:36. It says, but the people held their peace, but it's supposed to be silent, or the word kaharash, which means to hold your tongue and practice discipline, silence, and hold your quietness with discipline. And it says in chapter 29, verse 10 of Job, or Job, and the nobles held there, they say pack or peace, but it's supposed to be kol, and it means hold the sound of your voice, of your audible sound, of your cry, or of your voice, to hold it, be calm, sing softly, or keep it down. Hold your thunder, your shouts, hold or yield your tongue. And their tongue cleave to the roof of their mouth. So he said to hold it. So, good words that specifically aim to a definition of a context of understanding. That if we were reading it in its proper context, like the scriptures does, that corrects the words, you won't see the peace pack there, a forceful peace. You'll see a good, clean word in Hebrew. But now, since they say we don't Hebrew, they neglect to have that understanding that an accurate definition of the word gives a better understanding than pagan-kinking, paganistic words or forceful words. And so, say I'm praying. That means you might say, well, it doesn't mean nothing, man. No, it does. I always use that term. Well, if words don't mean nothing, then call your son Judas and call your daughter Jezebel. Okay? If the words don't mean nothing, go ahead on. And there is people that call their daughters Jezebel. There's people that call their sons hubcap and firecrackers and all those names, but that have no real good, clean meanings of definition to look up to. But one of the understandings is that to have the revelation, if I was praying, and I was praying for my house, and I'm binding demons of chaos, I'm binding demons of strongholds coming into the house, and I'm requesting for shalom. When I pray that prayer and I ask for this of shalom to come in this house, shalom, shalom, perfect shalom of the Father to come in the house, and I request his shalom to come in the house, what happens is in my prayers and the frequencies of the sound, our ministry messengers are bringing in from Shamarim that perfect shalom. Now, if I was praying ignorantly and I said, I'm praying for the peace pack, that is somebody with violent muscle of strength. And we've done it as parents. I've done it as parents. Children start to moan and groan and cry and complain. When I ask them to turn the TV off, I pull the plug. Now we have peace pack. All right, but that is not shalom. They go home crying. They go, to the bed crying and sniveling. I want to watch Gummy Bear or whatever, right? And they cry till they cry to sleep. It's not a true shalom. That is me, the older one, with a force of authority to discipline the child, to be submissive, to be obedient. But then you can pray for perfect shalom, mature shalom of the Creator. Does pak or peace, letter for letter, sound like the Hebrew word? It does not. So in this case, even the Greek word ereni or rene, English word pancaking on top, which has a violent implication of force, of strength to bring prosperous, and it's done forcefully. So there's words that there's no reason in Shamarin and on earth to ever change or translate it. That was tampered with a paganistic word or a kingdom conquest mentality word. They pancaked on top to a very good, clean Hebrew words, which has, it's sad that they do this. So obvious, but yet we use these words very frequently throughout the day and not even understand it. Now, let's imagine something. When you see a police officer, he is a what? They say he's a peace officer, right? That is a proper word. He's not a shalom officer. He is a peace pack officer. He's coming with mace, a stick, a badge to stand behind with a code number of responsibility, and he has a gun if necessary, if the stick and the mace does not work, to keep the peace pack in the atmosphere, and it his duty not to bear the sword in vain to bring a peace pack. But that word for muzzling a situation with aggressive authority. Okay? So, but it actually matches, it actually well matched the word peace pack, the French word for a peace officer. Okay? In the UN, they pick police officers from all over the United States and also different parts of the world that are police officers or investigators from the federal and state and county facilities throughout the world, and they get paid to work as peacekeepers for the UN. So when you say that word peacekeeper and they're packing a gun and they got their mace, they are behind a badge and they're forcefully using a pack, okay? Because when you see them, it is not a shalom. Shalom, it is completely different. But to use that out of context is real radical. Let's look at one passage in the book of, we can go to Isaiah, Yeshayahu, chapter 9. Let's read it from verse 6 and 7 from the scriptures. And he says, Now let me read these two verses, chapter 9, verse 6 of Yeshayahu. And is, for unto us a child is born, unto a son is given. The governor shall be upon his shoulder, and his Shem or name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Everlasting Father, the Prince of Shalom, not the Prince of Pac. Okay? In this verse, it's Hebrews 79:65 in verse 6, and 79:65 Hebrew in verse 7, which means shalom, shalom, friendly, without any obstacle, perfect welfare, health, prosperity, favor, shalom. Okay? He is the prince of that. He's not coming like Muhammad in Islam with a sword and say, submit, and then you would have a peace pack with the leader of Islam. No, he's coming with shalom, shalom. He's coming with the perfect image of rest and shalom for us to submit to him. And the government and the right ruling will be on his shoulder when he speaks. So we're correcting the replacement theologies, cancellation of all replacement theologies that was added. And it's sad because similar to God is a German word describing yet the Son deity, or the S-U-N. So with this, we close today, and we thank you for joining us. But as we get ready to close, I want to agree with you in prayer, as we do with every paganistic wrongful word that's been inputted in our vocabulary and language. Right now, in the name of our Creator, Yahuwah, our Elohim, we come before him with perfect shalom in our hearts of what we're understanding, and we come against the spirit of the art of infallibility that's placed wrongful words in our tongues and our minds by our forefathers, what they have given to us, what we have inherited the lives of our forefathers, and we come against that now, and I rebuke, bind, and expunge and destroy and make void of null effect all peace packs, and I exchange it for shalom, shalom of the Prince of Shalom. We ask you, Father, to forgive us for using words, vain, idle words that were not in proper place and proper sounds of understanding towards you. You are our of shalom, shalom, and there is no other, and it is his perfect favor. His Shem is called Wonderful Counselor, Strong El Father, the Prince of Shalom.